It's Tuesday, February 14th, 2023. A lot to talk about today. Before I begin, please make sure to share this video. Please give it a thumbs up. And please make sure you subscribe to this channel. That's the best thing you can do to support this channel, support the message, is to subscribe. So hit the bell notification down below also so that you are alerted when the newest video drops. But without further ado, I want to get right into this today. We've got big trouble, and we are in a very, very big mess, ladies and gentlemen. Inflation came in hotter than expected. Not really a shock or a surprise to most people. There were a lot of people anticipating this, but this means to at least to me, let me know what you think, but Jerome Powell and the Fed are way behind, and they're going to have to get much more aggressive. There's a lot of things that really need to be done here. Pipelines need to open up. Jerome Powell needs to get aggressive. We gotta get our act together here. Things are so broken. I believe right now you've got to cut taxes. You've got to give incentives to small business owners. We got to do something, but not opening up these pipelines. The Fed way behind the ball here is not going to fix anything. I believe right now, again, let me reiterate, I believe taxes need to be cut. Business taxes need to be cut. We need to give incentives to small business right now. We've got to do something right now. This whole country just seems broken. I don't know what is going on, but we've got CPI 6.4% year over year. Core CPI rises for the 32nd straight month, 5.6% year over year. I just looked at a 30-year fixed rate mortgage today on bankrate.com. It's sitting at 6.67%. What do you think that this is going to mean for housing? I know there's a lot of real estate agents out there. They're going to tell us that everything's fine, that business is booming. There's no way. 6.67%. No way. We now know that the Fed is going to continue raising rates. I think we're going to have multiple rate hikes this year. They're going to hold these rates higher for longer. And I would not be shocked if we, on the next one, saw a 50 basis point rate hike. I don't know what Jerome Powell is doing, why he is taking his time, taking his foot off the pedal here, but I think they're going to have to get very, very aggressive here. They're not seeing the tightening in the labor market that they wanted to see. Now inflation is ticking up, not ticking down. Big, big trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a huge mess here. And I was just looking at some of the data, and you look at the average U.S. worker, 52%, let me take that back, 52% of U.S. workers, 52% of U.S. workers make $33,311 or less. Now, if we look at some of these year-over-year changes with prices of food and energy, how in the world are these people keeping up with it? Eggs, this is year-over-year. Eggs are up 70%, butter up 32%, fuel oil up 27.7%, utility gas service up 26.7%, airfare up 25.6%, motor vehicle repair, that is up 23.1%, frozen vegetables are up 18.6%. This is year over year. Lettuce, 17.2%. Cereal, 15.6%. Dog food, 15.1%, etc. You get it. Then you take into account mortgages, rent, health insurance, auto insurance, interest going up on credit cards. How in the world are people doing this? How is the average person affording all of this? I think things are much worse than we're being told. I think that the average person now in America is carrying so much debt that it would be shocking if we really knew the real data. Here's another one I was reading. This actually came out yesterday. Fed is not your friend. Wells Fargo delivers warning ahead of key inflation report. Again, this came out yesterday. The head of Wells Fargo Securities, Michael Schumacher, said this yesterday. He said, for the past 15 years, whenever there was weakness, the Fed rides to the rescue. Not this time. So the idea of lots of easing, forget about it. That's what he said. So we're going to see. I think he's right. Here's another one from CNBC. The IRS has issued nearly 8 million tax refunds. Here's the average payment. Average refund was $1,963, down from $2,201 same time last year. So you're paying more and you're getting less. So people who were dependent, hoping for more, not going to get it. Here's one from The Hedge today. A shiny new car is out of reach for many Americans. JP Morgan data shows new car prices hit record high $50,000. This figure has jumped 30% from 2019. Question, has your income, has your paycheck jumped 30% from 2019? It's going to be very, very difficult for the average American now to buy a new car. Now, I think that we're going to see more people, no doubt, buying used cars. We've seen an uptick in prices of used cars. But when you look at 21 months of negative real wages, personal savings being depleted, credit cards being maxed out, how does the average American at this point go out and buy a new car or even a used car at this point? And then you have to think about people's credit is going to be absolutely destroyed here as they're falling behind on their mortgages, they're falling behind on rent, they're falling behind on their credit card payments. They're not going to qualify to buy a car. And how are people going to qualify to buy a home at 6.67% and climbing? Ford cutting 3,800 European jobs in EV push. And here's another one. Ford halts production of shipments of its electric F-150 Lightning due to potential battery issue. I think that these cars are going to have a lot of issues. And I think that you're way better off buying gas or diesel. And I think at some point, the car makers and the average person is going to realize that the EV push just isn't going to take off. We've seen these trucks, they don't have the torque, they don't have the towing capacity. And just imagine, what's the reliability on these type of vehicles? And you think about the environmental damage we do to dig up, you know, the cobalt and the lithium and all these metals in order to make these batteries, parts for these cars. It's just going to be so costly to the environment, so costly to the consumer. And again, reliability, they're having so many problems, and the cost of these vehicles, it just doesn't make any sense. But to me, look, I want free markets. And in a free market, people should have the choice to buy whatever they want to buy. If you want to buy an electric vehicle, God bless you, buy an electric vehicle. Let the markets decide. Let the markets dictate that. But I don't think it's right when the government is giving tax breaks and incentives to certain types of automobiles that, you know, if you buy electric, we're going to give you, you know, $10,000 or $15,000 tax break or some sort of incentive, when you're not doing that to gas or diesel. Why not let the market just be free and let people decide without, you know, these incentives? Here's another one from The Hedge today. Tanker rates to haul gasoline soar 400% after Russian sanctions. You know, I don't know about you, but did these sanctions really do anything? It seems to me that Russia is making more money than ever. Their currency is stronger than ever. It's one of the strongest currencies on the globe now. But it says here about 400 tankers, or 20% of the global fleet, recently switched from hauling fuels for traditional countries to carrying Russian petroleum products. Again, Russia is making a lot of money. And there is no doubt that Russia and China are definitely going to be huge superpowers here in the years to come, without a doubt, including the BRICS nations. And another reason why we really have to be paying attention to what is going on. It's amazing that, you know, we're going to run everything here on windmills and solar and batteries, yet these countries are building coal mines, nuclear plants, and they're not slowing down. Yet we're going to be running our grids off of solar panels and windmills. It just does not make any sense. That's just how crazy, especially California, is with what they're doing here. And I think a lot of people are really thinking about an exit strategy out of California at this point. I think a lot of families are sitting down at the dinner table now having that talk. You know, is it time to leave? How are we going to do this? I think people are starting to really weigh out things that maybe, you know, hey, we have great weather, but is the weather really worth it? And where is California 5 or 10 years from now? And do you want to be here in this apocalypse that we call California? Tent cities, homeless, drugs. It's just a disaster. High taxes. And I think a lot of people now are really having a serious talk. And I think that we're going to see a huge exodus in the next 24 months here from California, and I will be included in that without a doubt. Here's one from CNBC. Worried residents near Ohio train derailment report dead fish and chickens as authorities say it's safe to return. Now, I want to thank everybody for the comments last night. I had people, friends of mine who live in the area, actually reach out last night to me and just tell me how bad it really is. We don't even realize. We're not being told how bad it really is. But they reported the same thing: dead fish, dead animals. And, you know, this isn't just East Palestine. This plume, this cloud, covered, you know, other areas of Ohio because it was carried by wind. And so it wasn't just East Palestine that I think was in danger, but other outlying areas, 10, maybe, you know, even 20 miles out before this stuff actually settled. Where did it settle? What did it settle on? There were so many chemicals. But a lot of people in the comments also reporting how bad this was, what they were seeing. Same thing, dead fish, dead animals, many people not going to return back to their homes for quite a while. Just absolutely shocking. My heart goes out to all of these people anywhere in the vicinity of this tragedy. It's not being talked about. It's scary. We don't know the repercussions now of what this looks like 5, 10, 20 years from now as people have gone back to their homes. And as many of the professionals said, this stuff has a high rate of cancer, especially, I believe, liver cancer. To follow that up, another article came out in the Hedge. 2 more trains derail across U.S. after the Ohio catastrophe. East Texas, a tractor trailer collided with a train, derailing 21 cars. Another one in Enery, I may not be pronouncing that right, Enery, South Carolina. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, the whole situation with our airports and planes. I don't know if many of you saw this story, came out a few days ago. There was a flight taking off from Hawaii. This thing plunged thousands of feet in seconds. It was only 775 feet off the ocean. I mean, it came down only 775 feet from crashing into the ocean. And then the pilot pulled it back. I think they pulled 2.7 Gs in a Boeing 777. 2.7 Gs, pulling this thing straight up, saving everybody. How does something like that even happen? I don't know. But we've seen thousands of flight cancellations over the past couple months. What is going on? It just seems like everything is breaking down. Well, I'm going to close with this last article coming from MSN. 1 in 6 Americans are now over the age of 65. That's 17% of the population. And I bring this up because, you know, these people are retiring. They're going to be using their pensions, relying on their pensions, their 401ks, their retirements. And I believe that this is going to be also very draining on a broken system. And you think about the pension system and the amount of unfunded pensions here in the United States, and how we have an aging population who are going to be reliant and dependent on these pensions. And when do we begin to see the pension meltdown? When do we begin to see pensions saying, hey, we cannot pay you 100%. We're going to pay you 75% of your pension. Or we're going to pay you 50% of your pension, or we're going to pay you 25% of your pension. And what are these people going to do? We have a very aging country, ladies and gentlemen, and the system is broken. The system is broke, and people don't realize this. And there's people that you figure, I'm going to be retiring in 5 or 10 years and it's going to be incredible. These people more than likely are not going to get their pensions, or at least a majority of their pensions. They're going to take a big haircut here. And so, you know, if you're not 70 years old, if you're not retiring next year, maybe this is the time that you start looking at alternatives, putting money outside of the system, because if you're putting money in the system, it's very vulnerable. It is at risk of being stolen. These people, their pensions are going to be robbed and stolen. It's happening right now. Your Social Security, they're talking about Social Security running out in 2034. And yet people just have no plan. This is the difference between China and America. China looks to the next 100 years. Today, Americans just look to today. Well, what am I going to do today? We need to have a plan, and you need to start looking, I think, 10 years out. But do not rely on the system. Do not rely on your pension. It may not be there. Your 401k could be decimated. Look at what has happened to most people's 401ks already. We haven't even hit the bad times yet. You're going to see bank bail-ins. You're going to see the collapse of many pensions. You're going to see the collapse of 401ks. You're going to see the collapse of the stock market. Yes, Dow Jones up 150 some odd points today, or excuse me, Dow Jones down 150 points today, NASDAQ up 68 points today. It should have been much worse than that with the news that we got. But the system is rigged, it's broken, they're going to lose control of it. Look at who's leading this, Jerome Powell and the Fed. They've gotten it wrong. They don't know what to do. There's no way out. Yet most people believe that their money is safe in the bank, safe in their pensions, safe in their 401ks. If you believe this, I truly believe you're delusional. And you can do whatever you want to do. But I think the smart money is out of the system. The smart money is acting as their own central bank, putting money in assets, putting money in land, putting cash on the sidelines to take advantage of not the dips, but taking advantage of the crash. So just food for thought, ladies and gentlemen. But again, as I close, these markets today should have gotten absolutely crushed with the news that we got. They didn't. Again, it's just more manipulation. And if you think that inflation is really only 6.4%, I have a bridge to sell you. Most of you know 98.9% of people watching this video know that inflation is much higher than 6.4%. Prepare for very, very difficult times ahead, ladies and gentlemen. These problems are not going away. We've got train derailments. We can't get planes to take off. We got planes plunging almost into the ocean. We've got food centers burning down. We've killed how many, tens of millions of chickens, baby formula facilities closing. It just goes on and on and on. The system is broke. The system is bankrupt. You are going to be responsible for you and your family. We're all going to wake up one day. And when that day comes and you can't access money out of your banking accounts, you can't get money out of your pension, your 401k, you can't get to your bank and get anything out of your savings or checking account. At that point, you're going to realize all you have is what you can physically access yourself. That's it. You have what you have. And that day is coming. And most people are going to wake up and go, what just happened? And the people watching this channel are going to wake up and know exactly what happened because you're prepared for it. I'm going to leave it there today. God bless all of you. Please make sure to subscribe. Look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon. Have a phenomenal evening.